Hey everyone, Lissette here. Thank you for tuning in to our YouTube channel. Make sure to subscribe, please, as we are very excited about all the future videos that we're working on. Some of you may not know this, but I develop all of our video ideas, so it's especially meaningful when I get really good questions from everyone. So one of the things I've wanted to talk about is about me a little bit. So over the years, people have asked several questions, and I kind of gathered maybe 5 or so that keep recurring. So Scott has been so kind to ask me these questions here for me to answer for all of you. So Scott, give me the first question.
Hi, Lissette. Just wanted to find out, what was your origin story in the cigar world? When did you realize that you wanted to carry the Perez-Carrillo legacy forward?
Well, I actually joke about this, but I was almost born in a cigar factory. So my family had a cigar factory in Little Havana. My great grandfather goes way back into the cigar world in Cuba, and my grandfather and my grandmother both did as well. My grandmother more in the fields. My grandfather had a brand called La Gloria Cubana, which now a lot of you are familiar with it here in the United States. There's also a Cuban version of it. So basically, when I was very young, I would go to the factory with my mom, and I would put bands on the cigars and the cellophane on the cigars, and then place them inside the box. So at that point, I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do with my life, but I do know that that was a fun thing to do every day after school. And I got to see the struggles of what it means to work in a business, a family business, and see my dad so young. They had me very young. They were about 21. So my dad was very young and kind of learning the ropes, and I was there by his side. So that was also something very special. I was always very academic. So I went to college, and then I went to law school. And I remember sitting in one of my law school classes and everyone saying, "What are you going to do after?" My answer was actually, "I'm going to go run a factory in Little Havana." So everybody's looking at me kind of like, okay, that's a little nuts, but admirable, I guess. And I actually decided to got lured in by the New York firm lifestyle. So I actually ended up working at a law firm in New York. And then from there, went on to work for legal aid, representing neglected and abused children. And that was one of the most rewarding activities I ever did as a lawyer. Now, moving forward, I kept practicing law, and the time came for us to make a decision as a family. My dad's time with a different company was up, so we all sat together and said, we're going to do this. And that is how this company started. So it was something where I kind of felt like I was always going to come back to it, and the opportunity just had to be there for us to do so. So I'm really happy to be a part of this industry.
How did your personal palate guide the flavor profile of Silk, La Historia, and what were the key decisions you made in its blend?
So Silk is a cigar that is inspired by women but made for everyone. And it was my first real attempt at blending. It was inspired by just the amount of women, that I kept seeing popping up everywhere, on social media, at events, at different cigar organization events as well. And it was just so inspiring. And when I started seeing how much went into it, in the sense of asking questions about the blends and the strength and the sizes and the inspiration behind the cigars, it just became very inspiring to me. So I started learning more and more about blending, visiting the factory often to get a feel for how to make a cigar. And some might think, your dad is a master blender, it should be in your blood, but it is not. So it is something where I believe that is born from creativity, and while he's inspiring, it wasn't something that came automatically, naturally to me. So it was a very, very challenging journey, but a very fun one, because I got to share the experience with various people at the factory, including my dad, and it was a wonderful experience that we got to share together. And I learned a lot. I learned a lot about the wrappers, the fermentation process, how different tobacco work together. But the true inspiration is women. I just kind of wanted to make something that was inspired by us and that everyone's going to enjoy. And that's been the feedback that we received at the trade show when we gave out some samples. Men loved it. So very inspired by what this is going to do for everyone. And we ended up with the Ecuadorian Habano wrapper as a winner. I'll talk a little bit more about that in the next video.
Can you walk us through a memorable moment on the factory floor that taught you something crucial about tobacco or blending?
Yes, absolutely. I'm sorry, I was mesmerized by this beautiful ash on the La Historia Silk cigar. So let's see. A memorable moment is when I see the passion. I think that that's been a defining moment in all the factories I've been in. The passion of everyone there to make something that is memorable for the end consumer. So when I see the rollers, when I see the packaging department, when I see the sorting department, when I see all of these people working together to create, right? And just out of their own mouth saying that it's an art to them. It's not just a job, it's a passion. That to me is determinative. Now, when it comes to the different tobaccos, there's a lot of complexity, and I'm still learning. So I have a long way to go. I take notes, I record, I try to memorize, but I think that the best way to learn is, like I said, just trying, trying different blends, failing at some of them, not liking what some of them taste like, and then obviously having a master blender as my dad always helps get it just right in the end. But yeah, I just think the passion is everyone who visits our factory, says that. And then farther from the factory floor, we have the passion of those here in the United States selling our cigars, right? Our sales team, Scott is part of it. The passion that they have for our brand and just it's just a legacy, right? It's an all-encompassing, just wonderful place to be.
Nice. In what ways are you balancing tradition and innovation as the fourth generation face of Casa Carrillo?
Well, I work a lot with my brother in the brand development and the blend developments. We are very much about getting to know the consumer. So the consumer has evolved. My dad is very, very good at making cigars for aficionados, for example. And he's also very good at thinking outside the box and creating things that he might not be used to creating. So my brother and I spend a lot of time just trying to figure out what is appealing to the palate now, what is also appealing to aficionados, to everybody out there, right? So it becomes more about thinking something, the word cool is something we talk about a lot, but it's just something where you're gonna, I guess, engage the consumer wanting to know more about us, whether it's, for example, the Pledge 98 campaign, where we donated a certain amount of money per box sold. Initially, it was per cigar sold of our Pledge Prequel, which got a 98 rating and the #1 cigar of the year a few years back, to creating La Historia Silk, to Pledge of Allegiance, for example, where consumers just love that cigar and have summer celebration, July 4th. There's some new stuff coming up that is going to be it's phenomenal. Thinking outside the box, using the Mirab Phelps wrapper for this indoor cigar, which is doing wonderful for us, and creating a story of resilience about both families. So it's a constant work, it's progress, it's learning, it's, like I said, failing sometimes, having some bad ideas, some great ideas. And I think just having a new generation state of mind, and then asking a lot of questions. My brother asks a lot of people, before we release anything, what do you think? Even so much as just the wrapper, for example, we take a lot of time to consider. Collaborations have also been something that's worked wonderfully for us. We've collaborated with Plasencia, with Oliva, with the Diadema factory on one of our releases, the Connecticut Essence. So it's about just learning what's out there and continuing to learn. And the wonderful thing about my dad is that he's been doing this over 50 years and he's still innovating. So I can't wait to see what else he's got for us, to discover.
All right, and what is the likelihood of the fifth generation following in your footsteps?
While it would be very, very nice if My children wanted to follow in my footsteps, or my nieces, in me and my brother's footsteps, and in their grandpa and great grandpas. Uh, we have a theory in this family that first you pursue your own thing, right? And if you really, really want to come here and do it with us, we'd be more than happy to teach you the ropes. So I know for sure my son will not be guiding this company in the future. He loves to edit some videos for us. He has opinions. He was the idea behind the dragon in our Perez-Carrillo line bands. One of my nieces said she was going to work on some bracelets for La Historia Silk. So the entrepreneurial spirit is there. My daughter loves to roll cigars. She loves to go to the factory. She loves marketing. So we just have to see what they have in store. My other niece, she's expressed interest as well, asked a lot of questions about just, what we do every day around here. So I'm hopeful, but I think somebody's going to come on board for that fifth generation. So that's it. Those are the 5 questions I get asked very often. And like I said, please subscribe to find out more about us, and please go through some of our other videos. I think you'll be very happy with what you're going to learn. Any questions, I look at this directly. I'm the one who answers all questions here on YouTube. So feel free to ask, and I'll make sure to get you the right answer. Take care, everyone. Thank you.